So in 1341, the king of Portugal at the time was named King Alfonso IV. And he was, and this is a quick side note I thought it was interesting, he was the father of King Peter the First, Pedro of Portugal, who is known really for the tragic love story with his mistress, Inés de Castro. Do you know this story? So really quickly, Alfonso did not like the relationship between them two, so he had Inés de Castro murdered. Peter obviously was extremely distraught, mad, angry, all of them. So when he became king, he had her exhumed, put her in coronation gowns, and had all of his courtiers kiss her hand, her dead hand. Yeah, that's power right there. Or at least that's what the legend says. So Alfonso, getting back to Alfonso the Fourth, he's also actually one of the great, I don't know which great grandfather of our Juan II from Portugal. Remember Juan? Yeah, he's also related to him. So he actually sent Nicoloso de Rico, who was another Italian explorer way before Christopher Columbus showed up on the scene, south to the Canaries. So from what is known, one of the treasures that could be found on these islands was something called orcho or orco. It's a prized like dye violet color that's produced from the local lichen. And this was like in high demand in the Iberian cloth industry at the time. So according to mental historian Alfred W. Crosby, de Rico took a cargo of skins, fats, and oils, dye stuffs, and a few slaves from the indigenous population from the islands. I think it was about 4. I read that somewhere. And he returned to Portugal. And this cargo wasn't impressive enough for the Portuguese to continue sponsoring trips to the island. It doesn't mean that there weren't other people visiting the island. We have the French, some of the Spanish, even Scots visiting, but none of them established like permanent settlements in the 14th century. But because this explorer, this Italian explorer, Nicoloso de Rico, took these people from this island, we can actually push back the official date of conquest of 1402 about almost 100 years back. And not only him, we know that others that visited also took and transported hundreds, if not thousands, of natives into the Iberian Peninsula. So we can safely say that the age of conquest actually started about 100 years before in the 1300s and not in the 1400s, as a lot of people believe. So who actually claimed these islands for the Spanish? So John de Betancourt, this dude right here, and Gadifer de la Salle, they were the conquerors of the Canary Islands. So they set sail to the Canary Islands from La Rochelle, France on May 1st, 1402 in a joint venture. The two explorers had obtained a bull being basically an important document from the Pope. And they got this document from the anti-Pope Benedict the 13th. In case you don't know, an anti-Pope in the Roman Catholic Church is just someone who opposes the legitimately elected Bishop of Rome and tries to secure the papal throne. And to some degree, they succeed. So that's why they're called the anti-pope. So this pope was granting indulgences, which is basically forgiveness, partial or in full, for your sins, to anyone who participated in the conquest of these islands. So they arrived in the island about a month later in June, and they started to lose supplies. They didn't have what they needed, and the men that were with them started to rebel. So Betancourt told Gadifer, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to Spain and see if they'll help us. He returned 18 months later and declared himself king of the Canary Islands.